I hate doing military service. I'm gonna move to Switzerland so I can avoid military services. You know what? I'll just finish my military services and move on with this crap. He decided to work at a school for money, but later quitted because he then remembered that school stands for 6 crappy hours of our life. He became a socialist again and got famous for his speeches because they were so good on and he became an Italian socialist. He hated war, so when Italy colonized Libya, he hated it and got arrested. World War I came along and he didn't like World War I, so he protested for his country to stop the war, but then he realized something good about his country and he protested for the war to go on. But then his group that helped him didn't like this, so they kicked him out of his own group. He was devastated. You know what? I'm gonna change. I'm not going to be a socialist anymore. I keep going down, down, down every time. I can't keep getting arrested every time that I be a socialist, so I'm just going to be a leader because I want to, and something else is going to change. And it's not what I'm going to be doing, it's my hair. Make me prime minister because I have an army. You know what? I'll make you prime minister. Why not, I guess. He became the fastest dictator. And now let's move on to Hitler. Hitler was a soldier in World War I, and he was so mad about Germany losing in World War I, so he did socialism as same as the other guy that we were just talking about, and he got arrested because he was doing bad stuff in socialism, which was the cause of him getting arrested. But in 1933, his popularity grew, and then the president of Germany made him chancellor. Hitler and Benito Mussolini had a lot of the same ideas, so they both became friends. Japan then decided to go with war with China because they had no natural materials and stuff like that. The West said to Japan to stop attacking China, but then Japan didn't like this because they knew that it was unfair, so they attacked Russia and surprisingly won. The three countries both wanted a lot of land, so they all became allies. Hitler wanted to take over the world, but for now he would have to settle down for a lot of space in Europe. Hitler invaded Austria and took it easily, which was really surprising that he just took it really easy. Hitler wanted to invade Czechoslovakia, some land of it, but then the British said that they would help them get only some land of it, and Hitler agreed and signed a paper. Just as soon as Britain thought that Hitler was not invading Czechoslovakia, then all of a sudden they saw that Hitler was invading Czechoslovakia, and then Britain was furious about this because Hitler broke the terms of the rules on the paper. Italy wanted more land too, so they found a weak country called Abyssinia and took it because it was weak, so it was easy. Italy wanted to control the Adriatic Sea, so he took Albania or something like that. And Japan took more land. Hitler wanted to invade Poland, but the enemies, France and Britain, said if they invaded Poland, they would make war against them. Then decided to split Poland with Stalin because he couldn't afford to go with war with British and France. So he split Poland with them. So if Britain and France ever tried to get them, he would have Stalin's help because Stalin wanted half of Poland. France attacked Germany from one of the sides of their territory, but they weren't successful and just decided to go back to France and just not attack them. Also did not shoot from their country to their country because they were scared of the Germans beating them in war. Sent a couple men to France so they could all team up on the Germans, but they didn't want to repeat what happened in World War One, which is basically they didn't want the repeat of World War One. Sweden and France asked Norway and Sweden to stop exporting iron ore to Germany, but they refused. Then the Soviet Union attacked Finland, and the British said to Norway and Sweden that they would help them to help Finland, but they still said no. The British built mines on Norway's so they couldn't transport any more iron ore. And the British also sunk and attacked a boat that belonged to Germany, and Hitler started to realize that the British were not allies or anything like friends. Since he realized that the British and France were attacking him, he then decided to invade Denmark and Norway. And then the British and France decided to attack the Germans because they were attacking Norway, but they failed, and the leader of the British was replaced with a new one. And then the France and the British both attacked them from the France that leads to the border, but then the Germans attacked from another way. They attacked a part in France. The British and the France attacked them, but Hitler decided to do something that they knew that they would never be able to do. And while this was happening, it looked like it was a repeat of World War One. Hitler circled the enemies and got them and was able to win France. And the British never quitted because they believed they could take down the Germans. And Hitler decided to make France a state, so it looked like the ally of British decided to switch sides. And Hitler decided to throw a bomb at the British, but then the British fight back, and they threw a bomb at Berlin. It didn't do much damage, but Hitler was furious. The Soviet Union was invading Finland. It was very surprisingly that Finland actually won against the Soviet Union. I can't even believe that was true, but they actually won. And it embarrassed the Soviet Union, and it scarred them for life. After Mussolini saw that Hitler was getting really good at getting land, he decided to get more land. He tried to take Egypt, but he only got a little land. And then he tried to take Greece, and that didn't work out either. America gave food to Britain, and Germany did not like this because they were in war, and they wouldn't let them give them food. So Hitler sunk a bunch of ships that belonged to America, and they had to try something different, so they couldn't sunk it. And they finally found something different, and then Italy started to fall because Egypt started to invade Italy, and that's where Hitler had to start to. He had to help Italy in the war, so he didn't have to lose. Hitler said to Bulgaria that he would for them to join him because he needed to get to Greece to help Italy. Hitler made an invasion to the Soviet Union. And out of nowhere, it became winter and it was freezing cold, that there was so much snow that the soldiers asked to just have a break. But Hitler said no because he wanted the Soviet Union so bad, because he thought that they would give up by now, but they haven't. So he just told his soldiers to keep on going. Then the Soviet Union started to beat the Germans, and the Germans had no other choice but to wait until winter was over. The Japanese wanted more land, so they wanted the Philippines, but the Philippines was guarded by the British and the Americans. So if they wanted to do that, they would have to do war with America. And they did, and it created war with America, and Hitler made war with America too, even though he never actually had to, because Japan pretty much had it in a bag, which means his population can probably go down. Once winter was over, Hitler told his army not to stop going east way, and instead go to the armies that were in the Caucasus. The reason why he invaded the Caucasus is because he wanted all the oil there. When he did this, Hitler got cocky. The Germans tried to take Stalingrad, but the Russians attacked and fought hard, so they didn't have to give up Stalingrad. And while this was happening, the Soviets and Russians were building a bunch of stuff to protect themselves. And after they were, Stalin sent their armies that were professional, and they would definitely win. And then the Germans' territory in Africa lost. They had no more land in Africa, and neither did Italy. Hitler was getting mad. Not only was Germany losing, Japan was also losing. They tried to take Midway, but lost to the Americans. And then Italy started to fall, and Italian people wanted no war, but Mussolini wanted war, so he got kicked out as being a leader. And then it was happening. D-Day happened. American and British and Canadian forces attacked the Germans. Hitler realized that he started losing. He decided to do a move like he did when he was attacking the British and the French. It was called Blitzkrieg, which was basically he surrounded the enemies, and when he did, but that didn't work out, and Hitler ran out of plans, and Germany fell. After they took down Germany, they then went to take down Japan. Japan fell, and the Second World War was over. Everybody was happy. It was the end. That felt like forever.